Alright, I wanted to do a video. There's a scene in Ghostbusters, I've talked about it before. Ghostbusters 2, this is. It's the Venkman World of the Psychic show, okay? And he's got two guests on that are predicting the end of the world, right? So there's obviously some relevance to the kind of stuff that I'm looking at. And the other guest is Elaine, and I've talked about her before with the 2:14 reference to Valentine's Day and how that ties back to the Queen. It ties back to the start of Lucas numbers, etc. I've talked about that date before. This chap though I haven't talked about, which this guy is called. He's called Milton. Milton Angland, I think, is the name. Okay. Now, what is interesting about this is that in the actual film, okay, this prediction is correct for the film in terms of what goes on in the film, because if you recall, the sort of magenta slime covers the art building, which is like the temple, okay, and that becomes the point at which the end of the world is, and then it's around the midnight hour, okay, because they've got to make it to midnight for old Vigo to go into the human baby body, and but everybody's outside singing "Auld Lang Syne," and that kind of prevents the end of the world. Or you could look at it as that is the reset. That was the end of the world, and then it's reset again. So this guy is kind of right with his prediction of the 31st of December, New Year's Eve, being the end of the world. Now, okay, maybe there's something to that prediction, okay.
Well, I predict that the world will end at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve.
Okay, so I thought I'd better play it actually. And what we have in the backdrop here, which I've talked about before, let me come back out here so you can see it, is this backdrop could be symbolizing like the Hoover Dam, the way it's curved, the concrete color of it, and obviously the idea of the world of the psychic. Yeah, the Matrix, which is the Hoover Dam, which is the dam or the damned, is the world of the psychic. It is the world of the psychic. It's the metaphysical world. It's the matrix that controls us, that is all built from man-made, corrupted metaphysical ideas. Okay, so they're not pure metaphysical ideas anymore, because if we have a pure metaphysical idea, it has to balance with the pure format of the world, which is really truly Mother Nature. And so, spoiler alert, none of man's, I'm not going to say none of man's, but pretty much all of man's ideas don't really balance correctly with the natural world. Why? Because God's already done it perfectly already. We come along and think we can do something better. You can't. It's already been done perfectly. And so, henceforth, we end up with the Matrix. Anyway, so this December the 31st reference here with the idea of the dam. Okay, super duper interesting. Okay, I wanted to show you now the number jumps that tie us back to that date. I've got quite a lot to sort of rattle through here. Just before we move on, anything interesting about Ghostbusters 2, the release date? I think I just mentioned in my last video that I was watching Steve Fletcher, and he mentioned Oblivion, and all the stuff with the drones. Again, in his clip, which referred to the last Super Bowl, there is a drone. I'm pretty sure it's a 166 drone. think it's got the number 166 on it. Tom Cruise has got the 49, I'm sure, on his outfit. Okay, and I was just I'd mentioned what 49 could be a reference to there. Well, here we go with 166 on that drone. So that's kind of interesting little side synchronicity thing. But what I want to show you in here, I've got it highlighted. Oh no, I don't have it highlighted anymore because I just bloody clicked on that thing. But here it is. This is the actor playing Milton Angland. Okay, and let's look at his birthday. And lo and behold, we've got the 824, or if we read it English style, 248, 248 with the Pluto orbital cycle in years. Okay, just if you wanted to look, Chloe Webb, who's playing the Elaine in that, and she's got the June the 25th. Kind of interesting stuff. Anyway, the opposite to Christmas, June 25th. What do I want to do? Anyway, let's go. I want to show you, right, the link to the date now of the 31st that I'd come across, which is this one. Okay, and this is from the birth of the Hoover Dam now through to 12/31 this year. Okay, so we've got the backdrop in Ghostbusters here, the Hoover Dam, and then we've got the end of the world prediction by Milton here. Okay, and yeah, I don't know how many Milton references we've had, lots of Milton references. Now look at this, 326. Kind of interesting because I actually just the other day was watching a video by Derek Dramatrinator, and he was talking about the 326 and how I'm thinking it was what did he mention? He was talking about Donald Trump through to around about Christmas time. It was 326 mercurial years, I believe, or something like that for Donald Trump through to from his birthday through to Christmas, or it might have been a day here or there off. But anyway, roughly speaking, that's what it is. I can't remember the exact date. Sorry. Just go over to his channel and check it out. I guess his YouTube channel. Right. This number has personal significance to me. I've mentioned it before with my grandfather and his synchronicities to, this is his birthday numbers, and his synchronicities to Madonna. Okay, just weird stuff, you know. So anyway, this number again, the Key Bridge this year. And what was the other thing I was going to say about this number? Oh, this is the main thing. Originally, Who's That Girl? So Who's That Girl? The Hoover Dam, yeah. Who's That Girl? Which also has the train scene that is reminiscent of Back to the Future, where the DeLorean gets smashed up. Okay. Who's That Girl? If we look here, it says it's released on the 29th of June. But originally, and I've got this in one of my old videos, on Wikipedia, I'm pretty sure this was June the 23rd at some point. I'm pretty sure I have a back video with it actually in the video. Okay, so this has been changed at some point. So I did have a quick look around to see if I could find the original, what I'm going to call the original release date, okay, of June the 23rd. Well, I couldn't really find much, but I did find this on Instagram. Today, on June 23rd, 1987, Madonna's Who's That Girl was released as the first single from Who's That Girl original motion picture soundtrack. Okay, so it does exist out there, this 23rd of June date. I don't know how official any of this is, but whatever. Anyway, I wanted you to just to know that, because we're going to do a number jump now from that date through to Christmas this year. So the June the 23rd through to Christmas, when it was released in 87, through to Christmas this year. 13700. Okay, the ear wound with Donald Trump. This is also Madonna's days left in the year from her birthday. 137 days left in the year, coinciding with Pierce Brosnan this year, who is on the 137th day of the year. So you can see the, and again, if you read this number backwards, the 007, you can see the reference to James. Well, I don't necessarily, you have to kind of pick it out of there. It's a bit it's a bit of a loose one, but there is this connection with James Bond in here. Bit of a stretch, but and of course 007 here, and number 13 M, I don't know, and M being 007's boss. So you know, there's these kind of connections when you sort of start splitting numbers apart. Anyway, interestingly, if you tack the day on, because I was thinking Madonna for Boxing Day, okay, so we had the 137 with Trump, and if we read this backwards and just take the first three numbers backwards now, we got the 173, okay, 17th of March, 173, a St. Patrick's Day reference, which I thought was kind of interesting with the you know, all the stuff with Boxing Day and Guy Ritchie and the Irish. So I thought that was kind of interesting, how that kind of, you can kind of fudge that around to kind of look interesting. How many times can I say interesting? If we now go on and put the new date for Who's That Girl in here, so we'll put the 29th of June in, we want to click through and see where that takes us to. Oh, that takes us to 137, takes us to the 31st, yeah, of December, New Year's Eve. So I thought that was pretty cool that the new date is now, if we know where the old date takes us to Christmas, the new date to a different version of Christmas here, 12/31. Now what is interesting about this date here, and I might do this dollar bill fold real quick in this video. I might have to faff about a bit, but this date is in the dollar bill. You can get this date out of the dollar bill, and what is interesting about it is it's with that owl fold where you make the 1011. Okay, people that have seen my dollar bill folds will know what I'm talking about. But you can kind of get Christmas off the other side of that as well. So I'm going to show you that at some point, either now or tomorrow maybe, if I get time. So anyway, I want you to see that number jump, right? So there's one more number jump that I want to show you, and I don't have it up here, but I'm gonna show you anyway. So anyway, this 326 that connects to my grandfather, I didn't really, I'd seen this before, right? But I feel like I want to say no, I hadn't. Had I seen it before? I feel like I'd watched one of Steve Fletcher's videos about Gladiator, right? And he had come out, he was looking at Christmas time, Christmas Day, and it was from the release of Gladiator. Let's go ahead and let's put it in, let's do a different, where do I want to go with it? I want to show you that one in a minute as well. What have I got in here? We've got a fresh one. So let me put the release date of Gladiator in real quick, okay, which is pretty easy to know. Let's Come on, Dan, let's do this quick way. Okay, and up to Christmas, this is what Steve Fletcher was showing. Now, 5-5 is in the dollar bill, and it's to do with the 122-day jump from 5-5, which takes us up to Labor Day, which is a 4-9 reference again. So you see how these numbers are sort of all tying back to each other. But there's not a year, okay, like if you were just looking at the 5-5 by itself and you were like, well, where do I start from? Could I pick a year out? Well, seeing as 2000 is the start of a new millennium, could we infer that's like a 0 start point and go from that date there and have the 5-5 that's at the top of the dollar bill starting, when we're starting over afresh here, and then we can see where that takes us out to. So what about 9,000? So what about the number 9? I don't know. But it's interesting that if we move on a few more days, so this is where Steve Fletcher was going, to this 9,000. And if I do move on one more day, which was Boxing Day for Madonna here, 9-1 was kind of interesting with the tie back with Guy Ritchie with his birthday numerology of 9-10. Okay, so that already started looking interesting to me. And then I'm clicking on, and I go to the 31st, and it's 9-6, and I'm thinking, blimmin' hell, well, that is really interesting as well, because 9-6 is the keystone in the Funny Handshake Club, in the Masonic stuff. Okay, so 9-6 is that keystone number in the arch. Yeah, the key. So this becomes real interesting, this whole number jump here. And obviously, with the tie back to the future with Marty, with Michael J. Fox's birthday on the 9th of June, 9-6, 6-9, it becomes really, really interesting. And the whole idea of a cycle as well, with the yin and the yang, yeah, the 96, the 69. So this whole idea of start and stop of a cycle and all this is, I was thinking, no, this is actually pretty interesting. And the connection with back to the Super Bowl stuff, like Super Bowl 1 was at the Colosseum. I think they call that stadium the Coliseum out there in LA. So this idea back to the Super Bowl, the idea with what was I going to say? Oh God, I've lost my train of thought there now. The idea with if you look at the dollar bill and all the leaves and the berries, which are laurel, I believe, supposed to be laurel. Okay, that whole idea there is to do with the kind of Greek, Greco-Roman, but mainly Greek symbolism of, especially the crown, which I do have a picture of it up here actually. Let me just show you, because this is the release date of Gladiator, and the film itself has, and I just watched a film with a bunch of stuff in, there's a bunch of 9/11 references in on the way home on the aeroplane when we were coming back from England. I can't remember what the film's called with Russell Crowe in it. What is Russell Crowe's birthday? Oh, 4/7. Interesting. And we've got Joaquin Phoenix in it as well. He is a 128, which we've just had all that stuff with the 128. That's the beginning and the end of the Lucas cycle. Okay. Did I have anything for this old girl? Oh, 3rd of July, release date for Back to the Future. I mean, you can just go through it all. It's kind of ridiculous after a while. Oh, look, 213. Oliver Reed, 213. Yeah, the start of Lucas numbers. This number's actually in the dollar bill to do with the fold that gets you to 1231. So that's, I mean, you just go around in circles with this stuff. Do I keep going? Oh, look, here's the Derek Jacobi. I don't know if that's how you say that, but look, October 22. I was just talking about October 22 in the last video again. I mean, it's just, you have to ask the question, are they simply picking people on, is this man doing this, or is this organic? 424 there. Oh, Richard Harris. Oh my goodness, look at this. The 101, and again, Back to the Future Day, 25th of October. I say Back to the Future Day, but that's the starting day in Back to the Future. Okay, the 25th, and then they do the jumps on the 26th. Okay, and there's our 101 for Hoover Dam stuff. Okay, so you can go through all this. Here's the release date in the States, 5/5. Notice it tying in with the May Day date as well, and again, these are 5/12, 5/21 numbers at the top of the dartboard. The 155, this number here, this is why it sort of confirms to me that this is to do with the dollar bill, is because 155 again is one of the number jumps in the dollar bill. And this is difficult for people to follow, but the 5/5 date where you jump 122 dates, well, 122 is a reflection of this 155 date. It's not a date, but it's a number. So the 122 numerology, the 5/5 date, and the 155 numerology with the number jumps with that as well, reflective numbers and number jumps all over the place. I know that doesn't make much sense to new people, but it's absolutely crazy. Let me show you a picture here to make you kind of, oh, that's another job there. Federal Reserve note, yeah. What I want to do, of course I don't have it up now. Oh, there we are. Look at the crown here with the leaves. Yeah. Okay. This is, I guess they're doing a Gladiator 2. Yeah, look at the, I think they just made that, I don't even know if that's, well anyway, don't matter, whatever. But look at the leaves on there. Now let's go to the dollar bill, and I'll show you something. This is the point at which, looking at the top of this, when you come, this is where the fold line comes through right here, just under these letters underneath the United States of America, comes right through there, and it makes the 5/5 date. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves up here. There's a fold line right here, and then you have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves over here. And then if you look underneath this fold, maybe I'll just get this. Hang on, let's just copy this and put it in. Let's go to this real quick. This will be easy. So I can just show you this right now, because this is, I might as well just do it now and get it done with. Right. Go to brushes and just get some red on, and let's put a fold line in. So this is going off of the pattern that's within, around the outside of this thing. There are certain places where this pattern repeats. Anyway, this is one of them, without spending a whole bunch of time. But you pull a line through here, okay, and it ends up being somewhere about there. I'm a bit off, I need to go up just maybe a hair here. But there's basically a fold line that runs through here, right? And what you count above this fold line is leaves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over this side. So there's 5/5. And so if you go from 5/5, and if you look underneath here now, there's 2 leaves here, 2 leaves here, and 1 berry right here. If you go 122 days from 5/5 in the year, it will take you to Labor Day most years. Not every year, it just depends because it's on a Monday. So it just depends when it falls in September. But 4/9 happens to be that date often. Okay, so that takes you to 4/9 or to Labor Day. And to cut a long story short, if you put another fold line through here and you concertina this thing down, here's the dam down the bottom of here, here's the water flowing over, and when you concertina this thing down, there's another fold line here through Washington's eyes. Okay, some point there. I'm gonna have to move it up just a little bit or whatever. But there's a fold marker there. What you end up with is, let me show you. Let me show you what you end up with. You end up with folded down to there, and then as you open it up, what you actually end up with is you end up with, see this middle part here, these two middle sections. Imagine that is folded concertina down. So as you pull this apart, what's going to appear is Washington's head coming out of the dam. Okay, I've actually got an old video of actually showing how that works with an actual proper video of me unfolding the dollar bill. It's difficult to do on here, but that's what's going on, right? But going back to this, if you look at the top of here, yeah, this idea right here, around this point here, it looks like a crown with the leaves coming up, yeah, like what Joaquin was just wearing, yeah. So now what's significant about that idea is, if I show you this fold now, and I'll show you the Christmas and how you get to 1231 as well. So if I fold right here through the little owl, so the little owl is right here. If I pull that fold over, it matches up perfectly, yeah, right here, and you get the 1011 here, okay, and this all matches in, yeah. So we know this has got to be somewhat correct. This is intentional. And you know, we go on this side of the bill here, and it's the 254th day if we count two leaves, 5 leaves, and then there's 4 berries there. You can't make out these ones that are just underneath these very easily. This one's a little easier to see here. This one's really difficult to see. But there's 4 berries. 254 is 911, and if we now go, let me just pull that back a second. If we go, let's look at these leaves and berries here. There's 1 berry, 5 leaves, and another 5 leaves. 155 days from 9/11, from the 254th day of the year, takes you to, over this side, so when we join that back over, okay, takes you to 2/13, yeah, to the start of the cycle Lucas numbers, or February the 13th, 2/13. Now, if you remember what I was saying before with the 120, with this 122 number that was underneath the 55 here, 122 is a reflection, a mirror of 155. So it becomes very, very fascinating, this idea of a mirror running through here and then unfolding this thing. It's absolutely crazy when you think about what's in this dollar bill. But when we move this over, right, let's do something different. Let's now move it over from the other direction, because it actually does something. Let me show you this. Undo. Let me put a little red dot on top of the owl here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little red dot. There's a midpoint in this pattern here, and I'm going to put a red dot on the midpoint of the pattern. And I'm going to come over and do the same spot on this side. There's a little red dot there. Now you're going to see something interesting. Now if I go back and do what I just did, right, and I come down through the owl, right, to there, you'll see that that red dot, those red dots line up with the owl and the top of the pattern line up there. Pull it over and line up the actual O, and what we see is that when you line up on that O, right, the actual red dots don't meet up. Well, actually I need to go just a hair bit more. It's about there somewhere. It's difficult to get it dead on, but you get the idea. But they just don't meet up. There's a little gap there between the red dots. Okay, so my thoughts were, I wonder if you fold it the other way, it reveals anything different, you know. What I mean by fold it the other way is, I mean, come down through this red dot and fold it over to the other side. You know, because if you're doing it one way, why not do it the other way? Okay, so if you fold this back over this way now and line it up, and you have the dots just a fraction apart again. Now, do you see something? It's difficult to see. This is all joined up again. It's difficult to see this now, but let me get a green on and brushes on. I'm going to show you something. There is a berry that is revealed right here. This is one of the berries right here. Okay, that is one of the berries. What does this mean? Is it means that if we count up leaves and berries here, we've got 2 leaves here and a berry inside this circle, inside the O here, connected to this side of the dollar bill. But it's actually on this side of the dollar bill. The berry is actually, excuse me, if we go down, it's actually in the middle of the dollar bill, is what I should say, because the middle is right between these 2 red dots here. So this berry, I've come to the conclusion that maybe it should be shared between both sides of the dollar bill. So we've got a 12 here, and then over this side we've got the 2 bunny ears there as well, and this thing. So we've got a 12 here as well. And then if I come down here, in fact, let's make this a little bit bigger so you can read it a bit easier. So this is a 12, and this is a 12. Okay. Now if we come down and count leaves and berries here, we've got one berry, 3 leaves. So we've got a 13 Taylor Swift's birthday, or a 31. Okay, so we've got 1231 here. Now, remember what I was just saying is that, let's go to black. If you look at these leaves and these berries here, it's actually really difficult to see. You can just about make this one out underneath here. I don't know if you can see my cursor very well. You can just about make that one out underneath. This one's pretty difficult to make out. What I was thinking is, well, they could have put this berry down, and they could have put this berry, you know, they could have moved this berry down to here, and they could have moved this berry to here without upsetting anything, so you could really see the 4. But they've stuck it underneath there, and I reckon it's to so that you can infer to either look at these berries as 4 berries or just 1, 2 berries, if you get what I'm saying. Okay, and I reckon this is a reference to Christmas. I reckon that you're supposed to look at these berries here now as 2, sorry I shouldn't have done that little dot there, 2 berries now and 5 leaves. Okay, so 12, so we've got 12, 25 and 1231 in the dollar bill. So that, I think, is pretty interesting. Yes, that's kind of fudgery there with, you know, but I think that's, you know, why not make them berries where you can see them better? You know, why put them under, you know, just questioning why certain things are done a certain way. You know, just as that thing is just perfectly in the middle of the dollar bill. I mean, I don't know how somebody even comes up with this. It's absolutely mental. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, so if you could follow that, if you've seen some of my other dollar bill folds beforehand, that's easier. It'll make that easier to understand. But if we click off of that, you can see that berry there now. That's the one that, by doing the fold back the other way, this is the berry that's revealed. So that's kind of interesting stuff. So we've done that, got all that rubbish out of the way. I've shown you that number jump. We did the, what have I forgotten to say? That's my next thing. What have I forgotten now? What's this? So we've done this 9-6 stuff, you know, from that 5-5 date, and we're calling this 0 basically, and we're just starting 5-5, and we're just going through 9,006 days. No particular reason other than what I would say about that whole thing, though, about going that 5-5, is I don't know how to explain it really, other than, you know, we're looking for, you know, the keystone right here of the arch. So, you know, we've got this fold line coming all the way along here, right? Coming through there. Do I have any reference to 6-9 other than, here's the arch, we've got a line coming through here, here's 5 leaves over this side, 5 leaves over that side, and this is the keystone. These guys are all masons, so they're going to know this is 69 or 96. Okay, that point there, that, you know, where to go from, or the number jump to do from 5-5. I don't know, just interesting. I think I've done everything. Yeah, we did that. We did we've done the connection to Who's That Girl. We've done this connection. You know, this ties to a lot of stuff, that number. I was trying to think if there was something interesting about dropping back to. No. I'm thinking I've done it all. Alright, thanks for watching. Oh, this was the last thing. Madonna's birthday through to that particular date. 132 days to get to the 26th. But, again, if they were to double date this, and Madonna was maybe to die in the middle of the night, so they didn't put a firm number on the date, they probably will pick. So my guess was they would pick the 26th, but if they left it open where she died in the middle of the night, the 131, yeah, the day, you know, 131 days would work for that particular circumstance. Okay, all I'm going to say about this is that this number here happens to tie into my birthday, and oh yes, it's prime. 2697th prime, and you know, the composite numbers, look at the 2 7s in there, and yeah, it's kind of, I don't know if I necessarily have anything for that. You can go around in circles now with this stuff. Anyway, I'm not going to do that. But that's the number jump. Yeah, all I got to say is that it has personal significance for me. And I think I'm going to leave it there. I think I have done everything. Oh, gosh, I hope I haven't forgotten anything. Anyway, this is probably way too long. Didn't have anything up there. That was all that other video that I did. Well, you've got to see the dollar bill stuff now for the 31st coming up. And hopefully if you've not seen my dollar bill folds before, you probably couldn't follow along with that. You'd probably have to watch that back several times and really listen to what I'm saying. But there are other videos in my back catalogue explaining that. Okay, so I know that's a little difficult for new people, but if I ever do get any new people, but yeah, at least it's out there now, so you can see it, and maybe that's whetted the appetite for people that haven't seen those things before and thinking, oh, I've been watching Dan for a little while now. I didn't even know he had those dollar bill fold stuff and all that stuff. So anyway, I think we'll leave it there, and that's it. Yeah. Okay, the 9/6 Michael J. Fox's birthday. Nice. Okay. All right. Catch you on another one soon. Cheers. All right. Bye.